Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on, crikey, is it Wednesday already? Wednesday the 2nd of October. So here we are on Wednesday morning looking at the euro dollar and, well, where to today then? Looking at the trend, obviously, I still prefer the downside where possible. We do have the weekly and monthly pivots above. Now these can be quite a draw, and I'm looking to see if price moves up to these maybe this morning. So let's have a look down the time frames, and well, it's run into its 4-hourly 34 there, sort of almost bull flaggish pattern kicking in. It's a bit uglier on the 60-minute here. So looking at this, if the decisions are here really for me. If I can only, have I done it? Yep. If I can draw on this, it'll be good. This is not going to give me a drawing line, is it? I can't even draw across here this morning. It's playing me around. Let's see if we can do it now. Yeah, there we go. So there we go. There's the line in the sand for the upside. So if it does break through this level here, it's got to be, to me, more looking more bullish potentially towards the weekly, monthly pivot. Maybe through it. We'll see. Of course, high probability of the daily pivot being hit, and it's not that far away from it, so it's not enough to trade it. So it may be a case of just waiting to see if that gets caught first. If that gets caught and we see a bounce, well, maybe it's worth looking even at an earlier stance on the longer side, just to see if we can run it back to this statistically good numbers up here. But of course, if it starts breaking this and breaks through the 50, well, I've got to be on the bearish side back towards yesterday's lows, so that's where it sits. Preference, the bearish side, of course, because of what we're seeing, lower highs, lower lows through this mainly. Although yesterday it did put a little reversal in here. We saw this sort of movement breaking above here, higher low put in there, so it's sort of put a little reversal in for the short term at least, which is why I'm sort of looking for the potential of up here. But if it doesn't, as I say, it doesn't crack that level, then I remain sort of pretty bearish. And even when it gets to this point here, even if I don't get into a trade to get there and it gets there without me, well, I'll look at that sort of zone as a potential shorting zone. Right, that's the euro. The pound. So from a daily perspective, well, yesterday is a bit of a, well, give and take really. Ended up on a doji, is a bit short of the still a bit short of the weekly pivot there yesterday, even with the spike on the potential news that there may be some leeway coming. But I've already seen that the Prime Minister Johnson is due to announce 2 borders for 4 years Brexit idea, and of course the Ireland Minister, UK Brexit proposal, as reported, is unacceptable. So there we go. Let's knock that one out of court. So there we are. Heading south still at this stage. Looking at the lower time frame, so lower highs yesterday, well, at the moment it just looks really quite soft, this market. Now, of course, it could be changed quite quickly. We saw this yesterday. It got oversold at the lows here on my indicator. My inflection point indicator gave me an oversold signal quite late on before it got triggered, and then it's well, it was a bonus trigger yesterday, because there was some positive slippage, I hope, if you were in that long position on the pound. But to be had. Let's see if I can draw on here. So no, it's not going to work. Trying the line in the sand here. If it will work this time. Oh, come on. There we go. I'm having a bit of a problem with my a bit of conflict on the new e-signal and the charting packet on the recording package. There we are. It's there's the line in the sand for the upside. Break of that would be much more bullish, and would be looking at R1 weekly pivot maybe. To the downside here at the moment, looking at S1, yesterday's low. So just look at what happens post 8 o'clock. It's not far off it now, 10-2. Let's see what happens. I keep on talking about post 8 o'clock. You so often see fake moves before 8 o'clock. It draws people into the markets so easy. If I can get a cursor on there, would have been good. What time was that cursor sitting there? And that's 9 o'clock in the morning, so it's even later actually. But so often you see the sort of the fake moves before the real moves come. Okay, that's the pound, yen. It's a lot easier to manipulate a market when there's thin volumes around, basically, is the answer to that. Right, okay, so dollar yen was expecting further upside. We did see it for a good part of yesterday, and then it sort of just pipped out and rolled over. Strength coming through in the later afternoon sort of session there. It's come into 60 minutes. There we go. That came in at 3 o'clock-ish time, but it did push up as expected. Nice break of a trend across the lows there. If you were following that and you're wanting a sort of you're looking at a bit more bullish back to this weekly pivot, well, that's ticked the box now. We've still got the monthly pivot below. I'm sort of looking at that. It's not such a clean entry in terms of if you was to try and trade that. My preference is still to the long side on the dollar yen, so I would probably be sitting aside of this market at the moment and looking really at maybe anything that's starting to move above the weekly pivot. So it's weekly pivot, daily pivot even. So really looking above this daily pivot area, above the 50.34, then I can start sort of maybe seeing if we can get a bit more movement to the upside. Oops, don't want that. Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar. Okay, so yesterday pretty negative overall there with the cut in interest rate speech, etc. Didn't really pick the markets that much. And to me, lower highs, lower lows, it just looks technically like, is this an opportunity to sell now? Pretty much, just maybe worth waiting for post 8 o'clock just to see if this is just a glitch or whatever. But you would be in this if you've been drawing trend lines across the lows there earlier on. You'd be sitting there in a short position at the moment, and it may still give opportunities. Can't see any reason not to be in it at the moment, but there we are. Well, I can. It's just the wrong time in the morning to enter it, but there's the potential there on the Aussie. Canadian dollar, well, it's continued in this range, and I'm not going to even bother going too much beyond it. Has it got more downside potential? Marginally, but it's we've got news out later in the week coming through as well, so I would steer clear of that. Right, that's pretty much it. News-wise today, ADP Non-Farms at 115, and then at 3:30 we've got crude oil. Might move a couple of markets there later on, but I've not really been following it that late. And there's an FOMC speaker at 3:50. So have a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.